With free agency almost over, fantasy football draft boards are starting to take shape, and we are starting to get a clear outlook on where we want to draft guys within the first two rounds. Within this video, we will break down the top 24 players that you need to be looking at for your 2026 redraft fantasy football drafts in PPR formats here on Blitz Fantasy Football. What's going on, everybody? I'm Blitz Link, and I'm here with Bryce DeGroat. We're getting into our top 24 picks here, Bryce. Let's just get right into this thing. You got pick one. Who are you going with the 101 this year?
Yeah, not overthinking it, Bijan Robinson. I mean, this guy is my clear RB1 from a non-fantasy football aspect. I think this guy's so talented, and we saw what he did in the playoffs last year, and Algiers gone. I mean, right now it's backfield to himself by an elite offensive line. I'm not overthinking this one. It's Bijan.
Yeah, Bijan's going to be an absolute dog this season for the Atlanta Falcons without that backup. And, like with you going that route, I'm going with the other consensus guy that's there. He doesn't have his running mate in Sonic and Knuckles anymore. Jahmyr Gibbs has got to be that guy. He's still only 23 years old. He hasn't had a massive workload throughout his career to this point. Isaiah Pacheco going to steal snaps. Come on now. That's not going to happen. And, Detroit's offensive line does have some concerns right now, but they're going to try and address that through the draft. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs, based on the volume alone, is a player that you can't pass up if he's at 102 at all.
Yeah, no, I like that for sure. I think that, like you said, clear 1 and 2. But then my third is Jamar Chase. Uh, Please do not forget how good this Bengals offense is when they are healthy. I mean, he's 2 years off a triple crown season. This guy, when the crew's together, is really special, and the volume is going to be there once again, especially how bad the defense is. So yeah, Jamar Chase, wide receiver one on board.
Yeah, Chase is my clear number one right now. I don't want to say the safest pick at receiver. He's just like the highest upside guy. Like he's been a little volatile at times to start the seasons, but like Jamar Chase every single season, despite who's playing quarterback, going to be a dog. At the 104, this is where it starts to get a little bit interesting, and I have no clue why Michael Penix is the eighth highest player right now.
Go down to
Uh
11. Go down to 11.
dude, what? Sleeper is tripping right now. This is when you know you're drafting too early. Is sleeper rankings have CJ Johnson at 11 and Michael Penix Jr. at 8, bro. That's actually insane. All right, at the 104, we're going Puka, who is somehow the 12th best player right now. Puka is an absolute cheat code in fantasy football that looks like they might be interested in adding another wide receiver through the draft or even AJ Brown. It's not going to worry me. Puka's volume is absolutely insane. And as long as he has Matthew Stafford, I'm not worried about Puka's value.
Yeah, no, I like that, and I guess because where even is he? Uh, at rank number 38, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
No
I don't know,
chance. Let's go, sleeper.
bro. I honestly I was like, I don't know. There's someone supposed to be here, and it's not clicking to me. And I was like, oh yeah, it's JSN.
Good sir.
But the writings on the wall the year JSN just had, and pretty much in a very similar offense. No Clint Kubiak, but from a receiver standpoint, he's still gonna get that same volume. And obviously, Sam Darnold loves this man. Talent is through the roof. So yeah, JSN, third wide receiver off the board.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start filtering by points. I think that might be easier for compared to where these sleeper
Yep.
rankings are at this point. With my next pick, I think it gets a little interesting here. I might go a little against the grain, and I'm gonna go with James Cook for the Buffalo Bills. As long as Joe Brady is in Buffalo, James Cook is going to be an absolute monster. And everybody's going to be worried about, oh, Josh Allen's going to vulture touchdowns in the goal line and all this stuff. James Cook is so dominant because of their running scheme overall and what they run with the RPOs. Cook is a 18 plus touchdown guy. He's a 1,300-yard guy. He's just starting to get into his prime. James Cook is a great player and honestly one of the safer floors being in that Buffalo Bills offense.
Yeah, no, I like that. Even though I don't know, I personally wouldn't take him over the guy I'm going to take, but I'm going
Mm,
to take the risk of CMC here.
yes,
Obviously, we
sir.
we know we know the touch leader, we know his injury history, we know all that, but we also know when he plays a fully healthy season, this dude's the best fantasy football player of all time. And I'm going to hope injuries are turned off this year. And at 7, it's an absolute gift if that is the case. So I'll take CMC at 7.
They're gonna need to remove the electrical field for me to draft CMC this year within my top 8 picks. If he falls to 9, I can't pass it up. There's some other guys I like in here over him, and that's CD Lamb. All right, CD Lamb feels like he's consistently stuck in this 104 to 109 range every single season. Last year was a little bit inconsistent. Dak's going to be fully healthy for an entire year. You get CD back entirely healthy. George Pickens was the massive talk of last season. I think that CD is going to have a little bit of a bounce back year with Pickens with some regression. CD should be the 4th wide receiver off the board in my mind.
Yeah, no, I like that. And in between a couple of different options here, but I'm gonna go. I'm staring at a couple wide receivers. I'm like, which way do I want to go? But I'm gonna go because I'm a huge fan of this guy, and I think a couple people are gonna be reminded how good he is this year. But I'm gonna roll with Malik Neighbors.
I thought you were going
I'm-
to go a different direction there.
No, I'm a big Neighbors guy. I think this guy is so talented, and I think we saw his connection with Jackson Dart in their small sample size together last year. And now Jackson's got another year under his belt. He is the clear wide receiver 1. Like, it's Darnell Mooney and Darius Slayton. Like, those guys are not as good as Wan'Dale Robinson. So I really do think he's the one here. I think this team's gonna be overall better. And yeah, man, I'm a Neighbors guy, so that's what we're rolling with.
See, I thought you were going a different route with a guy that's going to have a resurgent year. Justin Jefferson is still the best wide receiver in football in my mind. Right there, what the guy's done since 2020 is insane. He's top 10 in basically active receiving yards among every player, and he's only played 6 seasons. Like, the guy's averaging 90 yards per game. Now he gets a quarterback who is not abysmal. He's going to return to his volume and his Justin Jefferson ways in fantasy. I'm not worried about Jettas this year. I think he's a great pick if you can find a way to snag him at the end of the first or the second turn.
Yeah, no, and I mean, just think about it from a value perspective. You just took him at pick 10. In drafts last year, he was going pick 8 and like up to pick 8 in some leagues. So you're getting him later with an upgrade at quarterback in my eyes. So yeah, if I didn't go Neighbors, I was definitely going JJ. But now I'm in a spot 11, and I'm gonna go Amara St. Brown, probably one of the most consistent fantasy football wide receivers we have seen in a very long time. This guy finishes as a top 3, top 4 wide receiver every single year, and people just like are still get the weirdness of drafting him.
Sleeper's profile's got him as the safest wide receiver. That's got to be a curse.
Gotta be a curse. But yeah, I mean, like, we all know how good Amara has been the past 3 years, and I think all these guys are here right on the same tier and great picks.
Yeah, it really does feel like we're going to start to go on a little bit of a running back run here. But before we go on that running back run and, we have the turn, I'll go through and get the turn right here, and then I'll let you go 2-2. Basically, at the 112, I think a great strategy this year. You get the best tight end advantage in Trey McBride, who was absolutely dominant last year with his volume alone. LaFleur is going to feed him the ball once again this season. Jacoby Brissett is the presumed starter. We all know how much he threw the football last year. Trey McBride is going to be just as good. He's worth that premium price at the beginning of the second, end of the first round this year, especially in PPR. And then I'm going to stack him with Devon Achane still. I think Devon Achane is still a borderline first-round pick, despite some of the moves with Jalen Waddle gone. They don't really have a great offensive line. No Mike McDaniel. I still think Devon Achane is going to have the volume. He's one of the most explosive backs in the NFL still.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm happy you took him because I was just saying the last one, I refused to take a Dolphins player. So I was sticking my word and not taking him. But I mean, I can go with the 290th player in Derrick Henry here. I could do
290th. Let's go.
I could reach on Derrick Henry here, but I'm gonna go with Jonathan Taylor. JT, oh my, like, literally before the Colts got decimated injuries last year, was the clear and away offensive player of the year. I get his receiving upside isn't insane, but one of the best pure runners in the game, and it's not even that close. So I love him in the early second.
Yeah, I think he's a great pick right around that spot. Now it gets a little bit interesting. I'm going to go with Jeremiah Love here in Brian Daboll's scheme. I think he probably winds up ending in Tennessee, and it's a debate. Do you go Ashton Genty, Derrick Henry, Jeremiah Love, Saquon Barkley? I think Jeremiah Love is the highest upside player among that grouping. And I know Tony Pollard's still there in Tennessee, but that's not going to, distract me from Jeremiah Love being one of the best running back prospects in the last 5 years. So Jeremiah Love, I'm all about the hype train, and he truly is going to live up to that hype this year. He should fall no later than 2-6 in a lot of these PPR drafts.
Yeah, let me follow that up with another young buck, Ashton Genty. Um, this guy is so talented. We know how talented he is. Last year, the offensive line just decided to play blind and really didn't allow him to do anything.
Can't be much
So I really
worse.
do. Yeah, I think Linderbaum helps them a lot, and I think just another year under his belt with a better offense as a whole. I'll take Genty pretty much like we were saying with JJ. I mean, Genty was arguably a first rounder last year, and now we're getting him close to the mid second. So you're getting him at a lower price in a better situation. So I'm buying the dip.
Yeah, and taking a look at this spot, it gets a little bit more tricky, I think, on my end overall. I've gone with a lot of younger upside pieces. I think you still go Saquon Barkley in this spot. The Eagles' offensive line, it's not what it used to be by any means, but I do think their offense improves. Sean Mannion is a Green Bay, guy. He comes from that LaFleur scheme. They're going to want to run the ball a ton. Saquon's going to have that volume. I expect them to target him in the passing game, a very common thing they did under LaFleur in Green Bay. So Saquon, he's still Saquon Barkley. I do think he has a bounce back year behind this offensive line. I would not reach on him in the first round this year. That feels like a mistake.
Yeah, no, I like that there, and I feel like the next pick on the board, I wouldn't say is clear because you could go with Derrick Henry. Like there's some other good options, but I'm going Drake London. I mean, we like I just said about Ashton Genty. We know how talented this guy is, and yeah, the quarterback room might be a little bit of a concern, but he has one of the most open offenses in the entire league. You got Kyle Pitts, but his wide receiver 2 and 3 is Jahan Dotson and Zacchaeus. Like, how does this guy not see 100 million targets? So
Yep.
I think the talent and the volume is way too good to pass him up here.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm looking at this. The running backs in the first 2 rounds this year is deep. There is a lot of good running back options that have a lot of upside this year, and it's really exciting. I'm going to go with another player that I think is very intriguing to me this year. Brock Bowers, I think, is an interesting one, but I can't go him just yet. I was about to pull the trigger there, Bryce. It was very close for me. I'm gonna go Nico Collins. Nico last year was a little bit disappointing. It felt like very inconsistent year overall, but the production from Nico was very consistent. When he is on the field, he's a 20-point guy. CJ Stroud last year, we didn't know what we were getting. The offensive line is going to be improved. They've made some moves on that unit. So I think with Nico Collins heading into next season, I trust the fact that he's been a consistent wide receiver one, since CJ Stroud entered the league, and will be okay heading into this year.
Yeah, no, I like that, and I'm gonna follow that up with a running back and kind of piggybacking what you just said. It is very deep, and there's a lot of running backs I do want to take. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I end my next 3 picks with running backs, but I'm gonna stick to my word because I've hyped them up and praised them for a couple weeks now. But Kenneth Walker, I just absolutely love this spot. I mean, this guy is so talented. I viewed him as one of the most underrated running backs in football. And then he kind of showed out in the playoffs and kind of woke up a lot of people. But I still think this guy's underrated. I think he's so talented, and when he's healthy and on the field, this guy's special. And now he's in a beautiful offense to be the workhorse back in. So K9 baby.
Yeah, I'm excited about the pairing overall. It's gonna be a great thing for Kansas City to have. I mean, they basically Brett Veach said we need explosive running backs. They had Amari Demercado, who's averaging 7 yards per carry in his career, and Kenneth Walker. It's pretty good. So we'll see how the pairing winds up turning out. At this point, I cannot pass on Amari and Hampton. Amari and Hampton is going to take a step forward. They're trying to improve that interior offensive line. It looks like they're going to go add some more pieces in the draft there. Keaton Mitchell was brought in as competition, not concerned at all with that whatsoever. And we saw it towards the end of the year. Like, he had that massive workload, was a low end RB1. So I think with Hampton, it's encouraging heading into year two what he did towards the tail end of year one.
No, that pains me because that's what I was actually hoping for the next time. I'm not getting ahead of myself too much because it is only March 17th, but Amari Hampton is uh early my guy for this season. I absolutely love this man. I mean, kind of hitting on what I was saying earlier. Like, dude, people forget how good this offense was before they got hurt. This offensive line is elite before they face all those injuries. And I think in a workhorse back with another year under his belt with Mike McDaniels as the OC, this guy could be in for a huge year too. And I was higher on him more than pretty much anyone coming out of college. So definitely love this man. But I'm gonna follow that up with Derrick Henry. Pretty much no receiving upside, but this guy's consistent, and this past season was his probably biggest down year. But at the end of the day, it's King Henry. And he's absolute wrecking crew. He could put up 40 points on literally anyone. I mean, I got 45 points on my head in the fantasy playoffs when he not only did it against me in fantasy football, but also did it on my Packers. So I'd rather that on my team next time. So yeah, I'm running with the King here.
Derrick Henry's the guy that just never ages. It's insane. I mean, if he's playing with Lamar Jackson too, he's always going to have open running lanes. Now we get to the end of the dude. There's so many good options still available. Like it's insane. So before my last pick, like some guys I think that should deserve some consideration here in the spot. Like Pickens is a great option. Olave, with Tyler Shuck in year 2 is really good down the stretch. Not considering Garrett Wilson at this point. Brock Bowers is a borderline option here. Chase Brown, what he did towards the end of last year. Rashee Rice, depending on if he's suspended or not. Like there's a lot of good options in this borderline round. And like even like a Josh Jacobs has been consistently, an RB1 during his time in Green Bay. So for this, I got to go with my boy Chase Brown. Like the production speaks for itself at running back. And, if you looked at this team, stacking Jahmyr Gibbs with Chase Brown is a PPR guy's wet dream at this point. Getting 2 guys that can catch the ball like that. Chase Brown was a top 5 running back the last 8 weeks of the year. It's very intriguing to see, him fall to the end of the second.
Bro, there is actually there's
so
really
many
a
guys.
polar bear in Texas. Oh my gosh, I'm not taking him. But no, great pick.
Who's the polar bear? Who's the polar bear?
Bro, because I just will never draft him. I know he's gonna be the RB1, but Tootin. Like I was going down the board a little bit and just not a guy I will take. Like Bucky being 2 spots ahead of him is nuts to me. I would assume Bucky's like 10 spots ahead, but it's fine. He's gonna be the RB1, so that's respect. But it just made me laugh. Especially what is his rank? 2,700.
Yeah, it'll be Sleeper's done. Sleeper's so bad right now.
But I'm gonna wrap it up with ooh man, not a running back. These running backs are solid, but I think the receivers are definitely better at this point, especially after you took Chase Brown. But I'm gonna take us home with I'm just gonna take us home with Chris Olave. Like you hit on with Tyler Shuck. I mean, their connection got really good at the end of the year. I think he's only gonna be better in year 2. Chris Olave is another guy that's arguably one of the most underrated receivers in football. And the volume should definitely be there for him as well. So I'll take him. I consider Pickens, but I'll take the guy that I think will get more volume and is maybe the better overall receiver. But yeah, that's how it ended up.
Yeah, and Josh Allen's still sitting here too. Like this is a deep, honestly, really deep first 3 rounds. It feels like a sweet spot to draft this year is going to be top 5, honestly, instead of the back half of the first, with these guys falling. So I don't know, Bryce.
I will say with the Josh Allen situation, if I clicked on quarterbacks, I probably would have went with him there. But I'm never a quarterback early guy. That's just not the way I draft. I'm never really
either, too. Josh Allen's just so consistent, dude. Like we have a guy in my home league that drafts him first round regardless.
Bro, he top 2 finish 6 years in a row? Like that's a game changer in fantasy. So if you say Josh Allen right there, I'm not calling you crazy at all. I probably would have done that if I clicked on quarterbacks.
Well, no, though, guys, this is our first one. We're going to get adapted to is hopefully Sleeper updates the board. Let us know down in the comment section below what your thoughts are on our top 24 players in fantasy football for the 2026 season. Hit that subscribe button for more Blitz Sports Media content. Me and Bryce, we'll catch you all next time.